Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be installing my strut mount bushings along with a bump stop and a bellow. We're also going to be installing these calipers. Now we're going to be test fitting them just to make sure that everything clears. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to be running the front calipers since I do want to go all big in the front. And these are not going to cut it. So we're going to have to see if maybe this is going to be a temporary solution or if we're just going to not decide to run the front calipers. Something else that I want to let you guys know though is I actually sold my Nissan. So I'll go ahead and show you guys. I don't have it anymore. I sold it this past week. As you guys are able to see, this is where the Nissan used to be parked. It's no longer here, so that means it's gone. That also means that the Infiniti is going to be the daily from now on. So I do have to take care of this car since it's my only car. Hopefully by installing these parts, it improves the ride quality. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and start taking things apart. I do hope you guys enjoy this video. As I was taking things off of the car, I noticed that my line is cracked right here. Now, this is just the rubber boot that covers the actual rubber line, but that's actually not good because it could probably rip it. Since I am going to be upgrading to the big brakes, it is going to require new lines, so I'm not too worried about this. Just as I was going to remove these fasteners out of the way, I noticed that my intake ducting had a crack on it. Now, I haven't noticed any rough idling or any check engine codes. The reason I say that is because when you have a mass airflow sensor like this one right here and there's a hole or a gap of air escaping, the engine will usually throw a code and it won't run right. It's very important that there's no leaks or any cracks in the ducting after the mass airflow sensor, because you know that would cause your check engine light. A simple solution to this is to just replace this guy. They're pretty cheap. You can go to the salvage yard, get him at the dealership, whatever. I'm not going to be replacing it yet because I just found out about it. I think you guys are getting the trend of this video. I should probably change the title of it to Everything Wrong with My Infiniti G20. As you guys are able to see, this is why I'm doing this replacement. The bushings are completely destroyed. I mean, taking a look at them side by side, this guy versus this guy, this one's all pancaked out. And then that's the same thing with this guy right here. So it's all broken and cracked. And then the one that's probably the worst is this guy right here. This is the bump stop. So it's completely destroyed. Comparing that to the new one, you can see that we're missing all this piece right here. And also we're missing the strut bellow right here. This is important so that your strut doesn't prematurely wear out. Dust can get in the shaft of the strut and it can mess up your seal. So this is a vital part of the struts. So make sure that you replace that. Alright guys, so we have one strut down. That's how it's supposed to look like. I don't know how to feel about this dust boot right here, the bellow. It kind of makes contact with the springs, so it might not last long, but it came with the kit, so might as well install it. I went ahead and finished putting everything back together on the front driver's side. I did run into a little bit of an issue. When I was putting it back together, somehow my CV axle popped out of the CV joint right there. I was able to put it back on there, but I think I'm gonna have to replace these in the near future. I don't even know if the car is gonna be drivable after this, because like I said, this thing just popped out and it wasn't on there, it was just hanging. So I've known for a while that I've had to replace these because I believe this side actually clunks when I'm turning, and that's a known symptom that you get when your CV axles are going out. So I'm probably going to do that in the near future, probably make a video on that. For now though, we're just going to focus on doing this. I'm going to be doing exactly what I did right now to the passenger side. As you guys are able to see, I went ahead and did the passenger side as well. We have the bump stop and the bellow in here. Something that I did notice though when I was working on the passenger side is that this upper control arm is probably worn out. As you can see, the bushing up here, it's not in the best condition. That could be why I'm having this squeak. So what I'm gonna do is put some WD-40 on there. If the squeak goes away, then I might have to look into replacing these guys. Anyways, now that we did this side, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the rear and pretty much do the exact same thing. As far as the rear goes, it's not in bad shape compared to the front, but the bushings are still pretty much worn out. This one right here actually has a line running down it, so we needed to replace this because it was gonna eventually fail. And in the same story with our bump stop, it's completely destroyed. So let's go ahead and put everything back on the car. We're gonna go ahead and speed through everything, and then after this we're gonna go ahead and mount the calipers to see how they fit the car. Now that we have the rear and the front struts done, let's go ahead and try on our calipers to see if they will bolt up. To make it easier, we're going to go ahead and turn the steering wheel to the left so that the wheel is facing us. This is going to make it easier for us to get access to the rear caliper bolts. First, we're going to remove this clip right here. And then go ahead and remove your brake line. Since we're going to be removing our caliper, I'm going to go ahead and remove it all together. To do that, what we need to do is remove these two rear caliper bolts that are in the back right here. So there's one up here and one down there. These are both 19mm bolts on this car. With those two bolts removed, go ahead and get a bucket or something to sustain the caliper. You don't want it to be hanging off of this brake line because it will break. Now let's go ahead and install the 300ZX caliper. It seems like our rotor is in the way, so let's go ahead and remove it. As you guys are able to see, the caliper does fit. The only issue that we're going to be running into is this dust shield right here, so we are going to have to cut it. And we are going to need to either have a customized rotor or go ahead and get a bigger caliper and push this caliper out with a bracket that they sell on eBay. Now, there is a lot of different ways that you guys can go about this. I'll go ahead and make a separate video on what is probably the best way to do this. Since this hub makes the caliper go back a little bit, it actually makes contact with the stock rotor. So that's not a good solution because we actually have to trim down the diameter of the rotor for around like 5 millimeters, which will bring it down to like 274 millimeters of the diameter, which is like 10.74 inches. The stock rotor size on this car is 11 inches, so we're actually downgrading on the rotor size. Now, the thing that I'm gonna actually be doing is ordering a blue bracket on eBay that allows the S14 to convert to these calipers right here from the 300ZX. In order for me to run that setup though, I have to get the 30 millimeter iron or aluminum calipers. The ones that I have here are 26, so they're not going to work with the rotor that I'm going to be running, which is going to be off of a, I believe, 2005 to 2006 Nissan Maxima rotor, which is 12.65 inches, which is a huge jump from the stock 11 inches on this car. Like I said, in order for me to run that, I do have to get that bracket, and I have to order the lines for it. I am going to have to drill the rotor to a 4.104 lug nut pattern, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a hassle. Other than that, I think that's the only thing that you need to run this setup. If you do happen to find the 26 millimeter aluminum calipers like how I have right here, what you guys can do is get the rotor off I think it's a Infiniti M30. That rotor is the exact same size that you need it to run these calipers, which is around 275 millimeters, which is 10.74 inches. That would actually clear everything. You are still going to have to cut your dust shield because it actually makes contact right here. So you are going to have to trim it down. As far as the rear goes, I haven't test fitted it, but as you guys can see, the front do clear, which I'm assuming the rear should clear as well. As far as the rear goes, it's pretty much the same as the front. You're going to need to remove two 17 millimeter bolts that are holding the caliper. Moment of truth, we're going to see these guys bolt up. As you guys are able to see, I was able to fit the 300ZX rear caliper on my Infiniti G20. Now, I don't believe I'm going to be able to run this caliper just because my stock rotor right here won't even clear it as far as the diameter of it. So this is about a 10-inch rotor, so it won't even clear this. And I actually need something wider. I need a 16mm rotor. This one I believe is an 8 or a 9, so I don't even think they make any rotors around those specifications. So I'm gonna have to probably throw this idea away. But there is a cheaper alternative to upgrading the rear, and that is by getting a A32 rear bracket. This is off of a Infiniti i30, and it's the same as a Nissan Maxima from the years of 95 to 99, I believe. And this actually allows you to put your caliper out a little bit. So it allows you to go from a 10-inch rotor to almost an 11-inch rotor, I believe, which is going to be pretty much the same size as the front if you're running stocks in the front. This is a great way to do it, and it's a cheap alternative way. So I might have to just do with this. I am going to see if maybe I can come up with a custom rotor and see if maybe I can make this happen. But from the looks of it, I might not. But that's pretty much going to be it for this video, guys. We did a lot in this one. We replaced our bushings. We test fitted our calipers. I do hope you guys liked the video, and please make sure to give me a thumbs up. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.